When our daughter Lily was burning with fever, crying out for her dad, my husband Kevin was on the beach, declaring his love to Serena, his first love, with 999 roses. I threatened him with divorce, forcing him to come home and take care of our daughter. But Serena fell into depression and jumped into the sea, committing suicide. She even left a suicide note, claiming she didn't want me to suspect her of being a homewrecker, and used her death to prove her innocence. As a result, I was attacked by netizens, cursed for allegedly causing her death with my baseless accusations, and demanded to pay with my life. On the surface, Kevin remained indifferent, but when our daughter got a high fever again, he took us to the sea and drowned us. It was only after my death that I learned Serena hadn't actually committed suicide. She merely feigned jumping into the sea to clear her name, pretended to be rescued, and then calmly married my husband. When I opened my eyes, I was back on the very day our daughter, Lily, was burning with fever, crying for her dad. Seeing her feverish, calling out for her father in a choked voice, I realized I had been reborn. The suffocating sensation of seawater hadn't fully faded, but I had no time to think. I scooped up my daughter and rushed straight to the hospital. In my past life, Kevin and Serena colluded, conspiring to kill me and our daughter. After I called Kevin home, Serena jumped into the sea in front of many people, leaving behind a suicide note. I hope everyone remembers me. I'm truly not a homewrecker, I'm truly not. I will use my death to prove my innocence. Sophie, I hope my death can bring peace to your family. This time, I won't call him back. Perhaps I can avoid this trap. But just as I pushed the door open with Lily, Kevin stepped out of the elevator. When our eyes met, his face contorted in anger. Why do you look so terrible? Can't you even take care of our daughter? I froze. Seeing Kevin's face, I instinctively recalled the vicious look he had when he drowned us in my past life. Then, Lily struggled in the water, fearfully calling out, "Daddy?" As she choked, coughing violently, her face red from crying. Even a fierce tiger doesn't devour its cub, yet Kevin hadn't hesitated, pushing our heads under the water with his hands. You too harmed people. Serena was pregnant with my child, and you drove her to death. How dare you continue to live in this world? He pressed us down into the water as he spoke. Since she and the baby are dead, you and your daughter shouldn't expect to live either. Recalling these memories, goosebumps erupted all over my body. I was certain I hadn't called Kevin this time, so why was he back? I stared at the man before me, my heart pounding erratically. Could Kevin also have been reborn? He took a step closer. Give Lily to me. He reached out to take her, but I clutched her tightly, refusing to let go, my mind racing. In the past, Serena's fake suicide jump caused me and Lily to be attacked by netizens. It was a deliberate ploy to cleanse her image. Kevin clearly knew Serena hadn't died, yet he still harmed me and our daughter. I retreated further into the house. How could such a malicious man genuinely take our daughter to the hospital? He probably wanted us both dead sooner. Sophie, what are you doing? Kevin tugged at Lily's leg, his voice filled with impatience. Can't you see she's burning up? I said I'll take her to the hospital, don't waste any more time here. I instinctively refused. After witnessing Kevin's cruelty, how could I ever entrust my daughter to him? As Kevin's patience wore thin, his expression darkened, almost identical to the look he had when he drowned us in my past life. I'm saying it again, give Lily to me, I'll take her to the hospital. I bit my tongue hard, forcing myself to calm down and quickly think of an excuse. I've already called an ambulance, the paramedics are on their way. Seeing Kevin's furious expression, I became even more certain he had also been reborn. His eagerness to take Lily to the hospital now was just a ploy. In the past, when we got to the hospital, Kevin had even blamed me for overreacting. He didn't care one bit about our daughter's life. I couldn't stand it anymore. The doctor had said if Lily arrived any later, she could suffer permanent brain damage, a lifelong consequence. Kevin knew that in the past life but still didn't care. I made an excuse to get a cold towel for Lily, then went into the bathroom to call 120 emergency services. When I came out, Kevin was looking at me with suspicion. Our house is less than 5 kilometers from the hospital. Why call an ambulance for such a short distance? I squeezed my palms tightly to control my emotions, trying to act normal. You've been gone so long, I was worried and didn't dare drive myself. Don't just stand there, help cool her down physically. I turned my face away, not looking at him, but I could still distinctly feel his cold gaze following me for a long time. The physical fever reduction was effective to some extent. At least this time, Lily's condition didn't worsen. Once we were in the ambulance, the doctor began first aid. Finally, Lily opened her eyes. "Daddy?" Lily, still on an IV drip, tried to crawl towards Kevin. My eyes welled up. The doctor even chuckled, pleased. Such a daddy's girl, their father-daughter bond is so strong. I smiled outwardly, but my heart was utterly cold. In my past life, he was the one who killed my daughter and me, yet now he sat there calmly, listening to these words. I silently clenched my fists. In this life, I wouldn't give anyone the chance to harm my daughter and me again. Lily was taken for examination as soon as we arrived at the hospital. I waited anxiously outside, worried that the delay would affect her brain development. As I silently prayed, Kevin stood up. "We're safely at the hospital now, I have to go." I softly acknowledged him. Before turning to leave, Kevin gave me a meaningful glance. Just then, his phone rang. Watching his retreating back, I don't know why, but I followed him. He didn't go into the elevator, but took the emergency exit. Yeah, the plan failed. She called 120 again. I intended to delay on the way to the hospital. Otherwise, the kid would have been feverish to the point of brain damage. Sophie, even if she didn't die, she'd go crazy. Though I had suspected his scheme early on, hearing it directly forced me to cover my mouth. For Serena, Kevin truly was willing to disregard everything. After confirming my suspicions, I feared being discovered, so I went back to Lily. My mind a mess, I sat waiting outside. When the nurse prompted me to pay, I rushed to the counter. But my card wouldn't process the payment. "Do you have another card or cash? We need at least 20,000 VND to cover the hospital fees." I paused, stunned. My card clearly had over 300,000 VND on it, so why was there no money? Recalling Kevin's gaze before he left, I finally understood. Behind me, people began to impatiently urge me on. I quickly checked my app accounts, then awkwardly asked the staff, "Can I split the payment? I have 3,500 in cash, can the rest be paid via WeChat and Alipay?" Even after paying the fees, people behind me started whispering, "Wearing fancy clothes, you'd think she's a rich lady, but it's all fake." Exactly, it's an emergency, and she doesn't even have money ready. How can she be a mother? I heard every word clearly, but I had no time to explain. Lily's temperature fluctuated all day. It wasn't until her condition stabilized that I had time to text Kevin. "Where's the money on my card? You know our daughter is in the hospital and needs money." Half an hour later, Kevin finally replied. "The company account is having problems. We need to circulate funds. I've temporarily borrowed the money from your card." I gripped my phone tightly, almost able to picture the triumphant, vampiric smirk on his lips. Just 1 year after marriage, I became pregnant. After Lily was born, I stayed home to care for her and Kevin. For the first few months, he even brought home a salary, but ever since Serena returned, he had completely changed. Now, the money in my account was all the savings I had earned while working as a reporter. This morning, Kevin couldn't prolong his stay at home to let Lily die of fever, so he changed his strategy to torment me. My fingers glided swiftly across the screen, my face emotionless as I typed a few words. "Give me back my money and let's get a divorce." At the same time, I typed my friend's name into the search bar. Luna was my former boss, who later became a close friend due to our compatible personalities. The last message in our chat dated back 3 months when Luna was still trying to persuade me. "How much longer are you going to stay at home? A talented frontline reporter like you, retiring to be a housewife. Do you know how many people are scrambling to get into the company?" I bowed my head, my heart filled with mixed emotions. "Is it still possible to go back now?" Half an hour later, she called back. "So you've finally decided?" "Yes." "Hey, our office is so crowded people are breaking down the doors. A girl named Serena shoved 300,000 VND at me, wanting to apply, but I refused. When did Serena give me 300,000 VND? Is it a coincidence that it's today? But I only need you. No one can imitate your writing style." Hanging up the call, my head felt as if it had been struck. My 300,000 VND had just been taken, and Serena immediately used that same amount to apply for a job, helping Kevin. How could such a coincidence exist in this world? Before I had Lily, my career always came first. It was precisely because I was worried about Lily that I withdrew to take care of our family. Before Serena returned, Kevin was considered a good husband and father. He himself had once advised me to stay home and raise our daughter, saying, "Our daughter loves you so much, how could you bear to leave her with a nanny? I'll only keep 2,000 for myself. I'll give you everything else, making sure you don't have to worry about anything." Yet afterward, Serena destroyed our family, and my daughter and I were tragically murdered. Kevin not only wanted our lives, but also squeezed out every last bit of my worth. I gnashed my teeth, hating them to the bone. Even if we divorced, I would make those two pay dearly. Just like in my past life, the first thing Lily did when she woke up was to confusedly look for her dad. "Mommy, I dreamed about Daddy. Where is he?" Hearing her innocent child's voice, my heart felt constricted. Serena returned when Lily was 1.5 years old. Before that, Kevin doted on Lily, canceling all parties just to be with her. At the time, I even joked that he was our daughter's slave. He held Lily in his arms, his eyes full of love. "Children grow up so fast. You're with her during the day, so I have to make time to play with her in the evening to strengthen our father-daughter bond." That's why Lily was so dependent on him, but now she was biting her lip on the verge of tears. Suppressing my pain, I helped her sit up and tried to talk to her like an adult. "Lily, Daddy has other things to do. He can't always be with you. Mommy wants to ask, if we only live with Mommy from now on, would you agree?" I thought I'd have to explain a lot. To my surprise, she already had tears in her eyes and said, "Mommy, are you going to divorce Daddy?" I was stunned, and before I could ask further, she threw herself into my arms. "My classmates say they've never seen my daddy pick me up, and they said Daddy and Mommy are divorced. But it's okay, Mommy, I like you more." I hugged her tightly, secretly wiping away tears. "I'm sorry, Lily. It's because Daddy doesn't love Mommy that he doesn't love you." The next morning, Kevin called me home. He couldn't wait any longer. The lawyer had finished preparations. "If there are no issues, sign the divorce papers." I carefully flipped through it, and the more I read, the colder my laughter became. I pushed the document back to him. "So you mean I leave with our daughter but empty-handed?" Kevin's eyes were full of contempt. He took off his glasses, his tone arrogant. "After we got married, you stayed home, got pregnant, and raised our child. Do you know how much money that costs? What if you leave empty-handed? Do you think you're still the reporter you once were? Now you're just a housewife, Lily's mother, nothing more." I burst out laughing, nodding repeatedly. "So where's my 300,000 VND? You gave it to your mistress, Serena, didn't you?" I deliberately emphasized mistress. As expected, Kevin immediately flew into a rage. He put his feet down, braced his hands on his knees, and leaned much closer to me, his eyes full of anger as if he wanted to devour me. "You still dare to say those two words?" I raised an eyebrow, challenging him. He dared to do it, so why shouldn't I dare to say it? Kevin slammed his fist on the table so hard that water splashed from the teacup. When our eyes met, I didn't back down. In my past life, because I didn't want our daughter to lack a father, I tolerated him again and again, only to die tragically in the end. Only after death did I understand. I shouldn't have raised Lily like a hothouse flower. The truth that her father didn't love her, she would know sooner or later. Emotionless, I tore the divorce papers to shreds and threw them directly at Kevin. "You said she wasn't a homewrecker. Then who left that hickey on your neck, Kevin?" "You're the one who should leave empty-handed," Kevin sneered, as if mocking my unreasonableness. "Do you think I hired a legal team for a whole year just to do nothing? I gave you a chance, but if you don't appreciate it, don't blame me." Having died once, how could I not understand the hidden meaning in his words? But this time, I wouldn't let him have the upper hand. After Kevin stormed out, slamming the door, I rummaged for a USB drive filled with incriminating photos of him and Serena. I was a housewife, but not a fool. For Lily's sake, I had once turned a blind eye, but over the years I had always kept evidence of Kevin's infidelity. In my past life, when attacked by netizens, I had tried to gauge his attitude. But every time Serena was mentioned, he would fly into a rage. She died to prove her innocence. "Do you still want to bother a dead person? What if you get cursed a few times? Can that kill you?" Seeing that attitude, I was afraid he would unleash his anger on Lily, so I never released those photos, even until my death. But this time was different. I used a different identity to create a new account, uploading the photos in 3 batches with captions. "Accidentally stumbled upon a cheating man and his mistress. Whose husband is this? Ladies, beware, I can only help this much." Less than half an hour later, Kevin called. "Did you post those pictures? Delete them immediately. Those idle people online have dug up all of Serena's information. Do you know that cyberbullying can kill people? Quickly clarify it, say that we're still happy. Those photos are just fabricated by a rival company." It was truly ironic. I returned his exact words to him. That's how netizens are these days. They love to stir up trouble. It'll be over in a few days. "Getting cursed a few times won't kill anyone, right?" Kevin roared on the phone, calling me malicious and threatening. "If I find out it was you, just wait." I hung up and continued eating dinner with Lily as usual. Even if he hired a hacker, it would be useless. The identity I used was fake. As expected, Kevin contacted me again that afternoon. Who gave you permission to post those pictures? You violated my privacy and reputation. If you don't take them down in the next half hour, I'll sue. I coldly sent him a screenshot. I have more photos. Want to see them? Kevin went ballistic. When threats failed, he lowered his voice. How much do you want? Is 3 million VND enough? A voice message was immediately sent, followed by a call. When I didn't answer, he texted, "Do you know what 3 million VND means? Do you know how long you'll be jailed for blackmailing at this level? You've got guts. I'm calling the police right now." I smiled gently. "Then let's make a big deal out of it. But your mistress, with such a scandalous past, surely won't be able to work as a reporter." Kevin gnashed his teeth in anger, yelling, "What grudge do you and I have? What do you want? Where did you get all this stuff?" Kevin wasn't a tycoon, but he could still get 3 million VND, especially since Serena was definitely willing to spend. Less than an hour later, the money was transferred to my account. I laughed scornfully. When it came to divorce, he wouldn't give my daughter and me a single cent, but for his mistress, he spared no expense. When Kevin returned home, his face was grim, glaring at me with murderous intent. "I told you to clarify the situation. Why didn't you? Do you know that Serena couldn't stand the cyberbullying and jumped into the sea to commit suicide?" He roared, his face flushed, veins bulging on his forehead. I looked at him indifferently. How is that related to me? Speaking of acting, Kevin was truly number one. He strode towards me, his eyes bloodshot, every single word laced with menace. "Now, seeing you for even another second, I can't stand it. Sign the divorce papers immediately. Otherwise, I will make you and our daughter disappear from this world. Do you believe me?" Of course, I believed him. In my past life, when I heard about Serena's suicide, I actually doubted myself for a moment, wondering if I had truly misunderstood. But there were too many clear photos. If there was nothing suspicious, why would Serena have to resort to such an extreme method? Only after my death did I find out she was pregnant. They wanted the child to be born legitimately, which is why they hastily carried out this whole series of plans. I looked at the man before me, my eyes filled with mockery. To have your illegitimate child born legitimately, you two really put in a lot of effort. Kevin's angry expression froze for a moment, but he quickly regained his composure. "Don't talk nonsense, just sign it. Now seeing you disgusts me." Thinking back to my past life, to Lily struggling and crying in the water, I couldn't help but blurt out, "Serena knows how to swim, so pretending to jump into the sea to commit suicide was just a way to clear her bad name, and conveniently use moral constraints to make me leave empty-handed, right? Next, aren't you two planning to get married? Do you need me to come and give my blessings?" Kevin's entire body froze, completely stunned. "How did you?" I immediately cut in. "How did I know?" Taking advantage of his shock, I quickly snatched his phone and called Serena. "Darling, how is it going? Has Sophie agreed to leave empty-handed yet?" Kevin's eyebrows furrowed tightly, the air seemingly freezing. I smiled at him, then spoke into the phone. "It's not what you think." "Unfortunately, I haven't signed yet." The other end immediately fell silent. A moment later, Kevin snatched his phone back. "What are you looking at me like that for? If it weren't for your greed, Serena and I wouldn't have had to go to such lengths. We were once husband and wife, you should maintain some dignity. Haven't I given you a good life all this time? Are you still not satisfied? If it weren't for you, I would have married Serena a long time ago." I laughed like a madwoman. "You love her that much, so why did you have me and Lily?" Kevin froze as if afraid Serena would get angry if she heard. "Sophie, you're being unreasonable." He turned to leave, but I stopped him. "Your cheating photos are all over the internet. Don't want to pay? Then I'll hire a lawyer and sue. With that mountain of evidence, even a first-year law student could win this divorce case. I have time, I just don't know if Serena's belly can handle it." Kevin froze, his eyes now showing a hint of panic. I pointed to the camera in the house. "I installed cameras to record evidence. If you dare to lay a hand on me, you'll add domestic violence to your crimes. Don't go too far." He turned red with anger, his body starting to tremble. "I'm extending my hand. Return my 300,000 VND plus 5 million VND for child support. Otherwise, I'll contact my lawyer immediately to sue you for leaving empty-handed." Kevin's veins bulged as he stepped closer, pressing me. "Do you believe me? Even if you get the money, you won't live to spend it." I didn't back down. "I forgot to tell you, the camera is connected to my lawyer's phone. If anything happens to my daughter or me, you'll be the #1 suspect." Kevin was so furious he could only punch the wall. I gave him 2 days to think. 2 days later, Kevin compromised. He signed the divorce papers, transferred 5.3 million VND to me, and then went with me to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize the procedures. After that, he was left with only about 8 million VND and just one company. To prevent him from acting recklessly, I stopped sending Lily to kindergarten and immediately moved house in the night, taking her to live temporarily in a strictly guarded wealthy neighborhood. Each day passed in calm, but I was extremely careful, only moving within a few kilometers of our home. However, I also paid someone to monitor those too. Very soon, the private investigator sent me a photo. Serena was holding hands with another man who was lovingly caressing her belly. Both were walking and chatting happily, but the man was clearly not Kevin. Seeing this photo, I let out a cold laugh. Indeed, karma exists. Kevin betrayed for love, only to find himself cuckolded. What a huge green hat. It wasn't until I held the divorce certificate in my hand that everything was truly settled without further incident. Stepping out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Serena tightly linked arms with Kevin, almost clinging to him. "Darling, don't worry. Even if you don't love me anymore and want to leave me, I will never fight you for money like Sophie. We came together out of love." "Sophie?" Serena turned to me. "Actually, I still feel that people should value feelings a bit. Otherwise, how will Kevin still love your daughter, Lily, in the future?" If I hadn't seen him two-timing with my own eyes, I might have actually believed those words. Lily leaned against my leg. Serena even shook her head regretfully. "Sophie, do you really want to educate your daughter that way?" I stroked Lily's head and replied with a smile, "Of course. Otherwise, what if my daughter grows up to be like you? Becoming a mistress for a bit of money? I'd break her legs." Serena's face immediately changed, and she stamped her foot. "Kevin, why is your ex-wife speaking so offensively? I only did it for you." Just as Kevin was about to speak, Lily, I don't know where she found the courage, suddenly ran up and pushed him, her voice mixed with sobs. "Bad daddy, you people can't bully mommy, I don't like you anymore." "Lily," Kevin's voice held a threatening edge. I pulled Lily back, coldly stating, "My daughter is not for you to lecture." Just as I turned to leave, Serena scoffed, "So what if you have 5 million VND? Is that enough to live on for a lifetime? You're just a woman whose life revolves around her child now. When you run out of money, what will you use to support her? Don't come knocking on my door begging for food, okay? Oh, I almost forgot." I smiled at her. "I heard you paid 300,000 VND to apply for a job and still couldn't get in, right? How did you know that? I warn you, don't spread nonsense." I smirked. "I forgot to tell you too. My old company invited me back to work. Coincidentally, it's the very position that Ms. Serena dreamed of." Serena turned red with anger, while I held Lily's hand and walked away decisively. But their anger was too premature. I didn't just want a portion of Kevin's money. I didn't just seize the position Serena coveted. I also wanted to make them lose everything and be utterly ruined. We had just divorced, and Kevin was already eagerly organizing a wedding of the century with Serena. Before that, the cheating photos circulating everywhere had enraged many, but Kevin posted online, "In love, the one who isn't loved is the real third party." Along with it, he attached a screenshot of the compensation payment transferred to my daughter and me. "I have done my best to compensate them. Please, everyone, stop attacking my current wife." After the post, the wave of criticism somewhat subsided. Kevin continuously shared the wedding preparation process on social media, but the lavishness of the wedding made me suspicious. Although Kevin had a successful startup, he wasn't a tycoon. Over 8 million VND had already drained his money, so where did he get the funds for such a grand wedding? There was only one possibility. Kevin was embezzling company funds. I recorded each of his offenses, feeling as if I was reliving my days as a reporter. Luna and I had already discussed it. Once everything was resolved, I would return to my profession. 1 month later, the wedding of the century proceeded as planned. There wasn't a ripple of emotion in my heart, but Lily burst into tears when she saw wedding photos everywhere. I hugged her, comforting her. "It's okay, Lily, you still have mommy. In the future, mommy will give you double the love and make sure you grow up happily, okay?" Lily pouted, burying her tears into my shoulder. I was both amused and heartbroken. Before I could say anything more, she innocently said, "Lily will give mommy double the love too." I blinked, nearly shedding tears at her words. Lily hugged my neck tightly, refusing to let go. I had to coax her for a long time before she fell asleep. I gently kissed her cheek. "Rest assured, Lily, In this life, I won't let anyone harm you again. I will eradicate all dangers at their root. With that thought, I grabbed my car keys and left the house. When I arrived, the wedding had already begun. A newlywed couple stood on stage. Countless cameras and flashes were aimed at them. To silence netizens, Kevin chose to live-stream the entire wedding. Serena's belly was round and prominent, both radiated happiness. When it came to the ring exchange, I stepped onto the stage, even before the bridesmaids, and noticed a familiar face approaching me. Serena's expression instantly changed. Kevin quickly shielded her behind him. "You're like an unquiet ghost. What are you doing here, ruining our wedding?" Serena glanced at the cameras, rubbed her belly, putting on a wronged expression, and started to cry. "Even if I did interfere in your relationship, I've been cursed and scolded all this time. I've suffered enough punishment. Today is our wedding day, and you still come to ruin it. Sophie, what exactly will it take for you to let us go?" The more pitiful she acted, the angrier Kevin became. "Where are the guards? Get her out of here." I looked at them, half smiling, half mocking. Immediately after, Serena suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing all the guests to exclaim in unison. "How can you let a pregnant woman kneel like that? That's 2 lives. Just part ways peacefully. Making a scene like this isn't good." Kevin quickly strode towards me, raising his hand as if to strike. "Didn't you hear? Do you understand what forgive and forget means?" I stepped back, avoiding him, and smiled. "I don't understand, but I truly hope you will." With that, I clapped my hands. The wedding hall doors were pushed open again. A man in his early 20s walked in, scratching his nose, looking a bit awkward. From the corner of my eye, I saw Serena flinch, her pupils contracting, and she immediately stood up. "Why are you here?" The man walked straight to Kevin. "My friend, congratulations on your marriage, but I really can't hold back anymore. The child in Serena's womb is mine." As soon as the words left his mouth, the entire hall erupted. The livestream room was flooded with comments. "No way, how many men does she have?" "So, she was breaking up someone else's family while also cheating." Kevin stared at the man in disbelief, stunned, his first reaction being to refuse to believe it. He turned to me and roared, "Sophie, you hired this person to ruin my wedding, didn't you? I gave you the money you wanted. What more do you want? I just want to marry the person I love. Why is it so difficult?" As soon as he finished speaking, 3 or 4 other stern-faced men walked in. "You want to get married? Fine, but what's this about you embezzling company funds? Using shareholders' money to hold a wedding? You've got guts." Kevin was truly panicked now, his face filled with confusion. He tried to pull them aside. "We've known each other for years, let's talk about things slowly. Today is my wedding day, please show me some respect." On the other side, Serena's face was chalk-white, furiously winking at her little kept man. But he had already been bribed by me. He stood awkwardly, tears welling up in his eyes, saying, "Winking at me is useless. I'm here and I'm determined to tell everything." "Kevin, right? If you don't believe me, you can get a DNA test. The child in her womb is mine. For the past 2 years, half the money you gave her went to me." Kevin looked at Serena in disbelief, his face changing colors like a palette, but he still asked, "Serena, tell me, what is going on? I only trust you." Serena, dragging her heavy wedding dress, ran over and grabbed Kevin's hand. "Don't listen to his nonsense, I don't know him." "It's Sophie. Sophie set this up to ruin our wedding." Kevin glared at me again, and I gave a cold laugh. "Indeed, you won't shed tears until you see the coffin." I took a thick stack of photos from my bag and flung them across the aisle. Guests below scrambled to pick up and look at the photos scattered on the ground. Kevin froze, picking up 2 of them coincidentally. They were photos of a pregnant Serena kissing the other man. Serena panicked, so flustered she couldn't form a complete sentence. "Kevin, I don't know about these pictures, I really don't know. Kevin, please believe me." But this time, Kevin could no longer deceive himself. "You've been lying to me from beginning to end, why? Do you know how much I've paid for you?" Serena burst into tears, her makeup washing off. "Tell me the truth, whose baby is it after all?" Serena sobbed but refused to speak. Kevin asked again, "Tell me the truth, I won't be angry, but I want to hear the truth." Hearing that, Serena trembled and finally looked up. You really won't be angry, it's his." Kevin repeated, "Good, good, good," 3 times, then unexpectedly delivered a powerful punch to her pregnant belly. Serena painfully fell to the ground, clutching her belly and screaming. Kevin, completely insane, climbed on top of her, beating her mercilessly, exactly like how he had drowned my daughter and me in my past life. "Help, help!" Serena struggled, blood quickly soaking her white wedding dress. It wasn't until friends and relatives at the scene remembered to intervene that a large patch of the wedding dress was stained crimson. "Stop hitting her, you'll kill her." Call an ambulance quickly, the baby won't make it. I stood aside, watching it all with a cold gaze. All the pent-up resentment in my chest over the past was finally released. Both Serena and Kevin were finished. The police, who had originally arrived to investigate Kevin's embezzlement case, coincidentally witnessed him in a furious rage, beating someone. They immediately restrained and arrested him on the spot. The wedding of the century turned into a chaotic mess. I retreated triumphantly with Serena's man, giving him the promised 500,000 VND. Hee sis, if there's another good opportunity like this, remember to find me? I asked curiously. Serena was planning to marry Kevin, why was she still involved with someone like you? He chuckled, his eyes finally settling on his lower body. I have no money, no talent. If she was with me, she definitely had some ulterior motive. I immediately told him to take the money and leave. None of those three were good people. Kevin's assault was live-streamed across the entire network. The police didn't even need to search for evidence and detained him that very day. I eagerly wanted to see Kevin in his disgraced state. You went through a lot of trouble to see him. Are you satisfied now? Kevin was like a mad lion. I'm like this now, are you happy? I knew you came today just for revenge and to see how I was doing. I smirked. Didn't you yourself say to forgive and forget? I also didn't expect you to react so strongly. Kevin glared at me. If I had known I should have, I cut him off. Should have killed me and Lily, drowned us both in the sea, right? Kevin froze. I smirked, stood up, and looked down at him. Kevin, you're not the only one who was reborn. If you can't kill me, then in this life, you're the one who has to die. Fear was clearly visible on Kevin's face, as if I were a demon emerging from hell. He unconsciously stumbled back, lost his balance, and fell to the ground. I looked at him with contempt, then turned and left. As soon as I stepped out, I met a serious-looking police officer. I boldly asked a few questions and unexpectedly heard the news. Serena had suffered severe hemorrhaging and couldn't be saved. When I returned home, my head was still reeling. In just 2 short hours, Lily had slept peacefully in her bed, while so many things had happened outside. Looking back, it felt like justice. In my past life, my daughter and I were killed by Kevin and Serena. In this life, I personally expedited their fate, but it was their own karma. I regained my composure and went into the kitchen to make sweet potato dessert for Lily. As I was cutting the sweet potatoes, Lily walked out barefoot, looking at ease. Mommy, I just dreamed that you and I were trapped in a sea of water and we couldn't get out. I hugged her, comforting her. Don't be scared, it was just a nightmare, just a dream, my dear. Serena is dead, and Kevin, the murderer, will be reformed in prison for the rest of his life. My daughter and I are finally safe. A few days later, I took Lily to find a high-end kindergarten, and I officially returned to work. Looking at my employee badge with the name, Sophie, I smiled contentedly. I am Lily's mother, and I am also Sophie, the reporter. A new life has officially begun.